Right, well, it's 1:30, so I think we are going to start. And hello to all the people that are joining. It's a great joy to be here with you tonight, and we've got this total shutdown to be thankful for us being here, because if it wasn't for the shutdown, we'd all be so caught up in our normal busy lives that we wouldn't take time to do a session like this or to attend a session like this. And I was talking to Michelle earlier, and I was just saying, if you remember when in the old days when we used to have blackouts and Eskom had their load shedding, when the power went off, it was, oh no, the power's gone off. And then a couple of hours later, when the power comes on again, it's, oh no, the power's come on again. Because we get used to the stillness without electricity. And for myself, it's really wonderful to have the quietness around us, to have the stillness without the busyness and the rushing. I ventured out of the house for the first time today, and I went down to Organic Zone in Lakeside, just down the road from me here. And it was so wonderful. No one on the streets, everyone inside. It was wonderful. Organic Zone, though, was busy, but it was really pleasant. No one's rushing. Everyone's in a quiet space, and everyone was friendly. Everyone smiled, and it felt normal, as against this very hectic rush life that we tend to live. So tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to be talking about the emotions that are being brought to the surface through the worries that we have, the worry about catching the virus, or worry about someone close to us getting it, or someone dying from it. But it's not only that, it's also, is my business going to survive? What's happened to my shares? Are we going to have any economy in the future? What's the new world order that we're stepping into? This whole story with enforced vaccinations and all of that. So we have these emotions going through us. All of us are human, and all of us have these emotions. And also being made to be still is allowing them to come to the surface. It's not that this situation is creating these uncomfortable feelings within us. It's that normally we're able to medicate them away on busyness, on doing. And most people are human doings. And we entertain ourselves. We go to gym, for example. We go to work. We go socializing. We go to restaurants. So we're trying to always keep ourselves busy because we're scared of the stillness. And yet the stillness has something really beautiful and wonderful to offer us. So I think there's a huge blessing in this, and I see it as a reset. I see it as a complete reset for humanity at this time. And when we go through any, sorry, what is that?
That's where you need to look.
Oh, when we, thank you, Michelle.
Pleasure.
When anything new is born, there's a lot of birthing pains, and I witnessed the birth of my 3 children, and I remember thinking at the time, there's nothing natural about natural childbirth. It's quite horrendous. But with anything, there is a lot of pain involved, any change. And in the birth of a child, it's dangerous for the mother, and it's dangerous for the child, and very painful and very traumatic for all involved. And yet, after a short while, after that process, we tend to forget the pain and the trauma of the birth, because we're so enamored with the new life that's being born into the world. After witnessing the birth of my first child, I thought, well, that's it, no more children. But after a while, you forget the trauma of that birth, and you focus on the joy of what's being born. And so then you have the desire to give birth to something new again. And that's what we're going through now, I believe. It's a time of complete realignment. And if you can think of the analogy of the caterpillar that goes into the cocoon, first of all, it becomes dysfunctional. I mean, a caterpillar towards the end of its life is dysfunctional. It's fat, it's sluggish, it doesn't function correctly anymore. And it crawls into a cocoon, which it didn't even know it could make, and it goes inside there. And what happens inside that cocoon is complete chaos. Its body turns to mush, complete mush. In fact, we know that even the genetic structure completely changes. And what emerges from that cocoon is not a more successful caterpillar. It's not a faster, more successful caterpillar at the level of eating leaves and dominating bushes. What emerges is something completely brand new. It's something that doesn't eat anymore. It's something that actually flies. And in the analogy, it's wonderful, because what can a butterfly do that a caterpillar couldn't even dream of? Make love. Yep, butterflies make love, caterpillars don't. So I would say we've got a lot to look forward to. First of all, flying. If we are the caterpillar going through the cocoon stage at the moment, we've got this wonderful opportunity to spread our wings. But also maybe we're going to make love. And when I say make love, in fact, that's wrong. You can't make something that is the all that is. But I believe we're going to experience it at a much deeper level than we've ever experienced before. But we are going through this transition, and in that transition, we will experience uncomfortable emotions like, for example, fear, like anxiety. These are the emotions which will come to the surface. It's only natural, it's only human to do that. And we need to navigate that. We need to go through this particular process.
Yeah, and I think for many people I've been speaking to, clients, friends, close ones, there's kind of a roller coaster of emotions going on right now, as John said in the beginning. This is a biggie. Some of you, I can't really see everybody that's joined, but some of you will have read some of my posts or watched the videos or possibly attended another call, but not to go into the astrology in this session, but this is a biggie. This is life-changing. It's like a tectonic life global shift. And I think most of you that are on this call have some idea of that. Obviously, there's lots of conspiracies going around and lots of theories about what it is. But more importantly, it's about how we navigate this that we're presented with. And it's like we're being squeezed, you know. What John always says is whatever's inside comes out. So if you squeeze a lemon, you get lemon. And if you squeeze somebody in situations like this, where we're living in close proximity, we are not able to keep ourselves busy anymore, we are worried about the future, many of us, we're worried about the situation that we find ourselves in on many different levels. Those emotions that we've possibly medicated away with busyness or with whatever our choice of medication is, are going to surface. And I sense that that's what's happening to a lot of people, because I know it's certainly happening for me. Lots of old stuff's coming up. Pluto and Saturn, which have been together and they've been animated and ignited and expanded by Jupiter and Mars. That's a lot of astrological energy. That's all you need to know, is that it's about plumbing the depths. Pluto says plumb the depths. Saturn says break down. Pluto says break down the structures that are not working. Break down the control. Break down the limitations, the restrictions. Break down those form structures that aren't working. So part of that is the breaking down of what we experience, and just allowing what needs to come to the surface so it can be cleared. That's the way I'm seeing it. Pluto is very much like the plumber. So he comes and clears the pipes so that whatever needs to be cleared out the way is cleared out the way. So obviously the planet's in crisis, but individually the way we can deal with it is possibly to actually see it as a cleansing process for us as well.
Yeah. And I think another way to look at this also is that we're being tested to make a choice.
Yeah.
Individually and collectively. I believe the whole planet is being tested this way. We have a choice right now, and we've got two baskets into which our decisions can go. We've got the basket of false evidence appearing real, fear, and we've got the basket of love. So we can see there's only two baskets here. Now the basket of fear will promise you the world. It'll promise you security. It'll promise you all sorts of things. Just have the vaccination, you'll be safe. Follow the rules and you'll be safe. That's what the basket of fear offers you. Ultimately, though, fear delivers you nothing of any value ever in life. And a lot of the choices that we make in life are based on fear. You know, a lot of people are in careers that they're not comfortable with. They're doing things every day that are not productive for mankind. They're doing it because they need the money. And that is fear-based. That is fear-based. And then the other basket of love. Now, love promises you absolutely nothing, but ultimately delivers you everything. Everything your heart yearns for will come from love. But love, the basket of love, is entered through the door of surrender, through the door of allowing, the doorway of accepting, the doorway of isness, where fear is very much predicated on doing, the human doing, and then we have the human being. And I believe that at this time we are destined to make a choice between that human doingness, which is fear-based, and the human beingness, which is your true essence, which is love. And that's a choice that we're getting to make right now. And I can see this as a galactic war, as a cosmic war going on right now between light and dark, between good and, I'm not going to use the word evil, unconsciousness. Because evil is unconsciousness. That's why evil is predicated, is because people do not know who they are. They make decisions based on me, mine and my short-term gain. They don't know that they are the whole. You know, we pollute the rivers because we don't know we are the rivers. We pollute the air because we don't know we are the air. We damage another because we don't know we're the other. You wouldn't do it if you knew who you were. And love is the recognition of oneness. Love is the recognition that the other is actually yourself, your true self. And that's the choice that we're making right now. So there is a war going on. Yes, there is a war. It's not a war against a virus. It's a war against the unconscious patterns within us and the darkness, which is fear. And as I said in that letter that I sent out yesterday and today, if you walk into a dark place, if you go into a dark room, for example, you don't pick a war with the darkness. You don't fight the darkness. You don't resist the darkness. What do? You put on the light. And the moment you put on the light, the darkness, which has no energy, in fact, darkness is the absence of energy. The darkness completely disappears as you bring the energy of light into the room. And this is really, really important. This is actually critical, I believe, for the future of mankind, that we make the right choice right now. The media, which my personal view is that it's under the control of dark forces, powerful dark forces, want you to be in fear and make those choices. However, within our hearts, we know that that is not the right choice to make. So many people I speak to can see through the illusion. People know that this story is not correct. Most people. And so we have to, I believe, it's very important for us individually to put more and more energy, more attention into the world that we want rather than the world that we don't want. And the world that we want is a world of connection, a world of peace, a world of love. And that's in our hands. I don't know that this war, that the outcome of the war is predetermined. I don't know what the astrologers will tell us. But I don't think it is. And I think it's in our hands today to come together collectively as a species and vote with our hearts. Not with that fearful mind, but with our hearts.
Yeah, in terms of the astrology of it, I think it's going to be around for a while. And many of you might have heard that on Sunday, is it Sunday? Yeah, Sunday, early hours of Sunday morning, we've got this massive conjunction between Pluto and Jupiter, which only happens once in a blue moon, and that's very potent energy. So I've had a lot of posts and a lot of invitations to engage in an online meditation. Well, not an online meditation, just a meditation that we all get together at 4:30 or 4:45 on Sunday morning to actually just bring in the light. So I think that we can all do that. And the way I'm also seeing this, this in terms of a personal journey, if we take the global thing out of it, is that with quietening down, we're being asked to, and astrologically as well, you can see that in the planets, that we're being asked to go home. It's quite interesting. So It's got to do with the north nodes and all sorts of things. We're being asked to not just look outside for our sense of security, not just look outside to our jobs, our homes, our careers, our money, for our sense of security. We're being asked to look inside and to go deeper, and to, as John always says with his teaching, is to build our house on a strong rock instead of shifting sands. So that's the inner journey which we're all on. If you're on this call, you're on that journey already. And in that journey, my only reservation is that when I speak to a lot of people and I say, well, what are you feeling? They say, well, I don't want to feel fear. I don't want to feel sad. I've got to keep my vibration high. And I get that, because yes, your vibration does create more of the same. So yes, I absolutely get that. However, when we are fearful, or when we are scared, or when we are sad, if we stop it and block it, it gets caught, and we basically have it's stuck, stagnant energy in our systems, and that creates all sorts of extra stuff in our bodies, in our interactions with other people. So very often you'll have a life shock, and this is a life shock for all of us. Every single one of us have had a life shock. We're all standing like deers in headlights going, what? How can the world close down? Like, how is that possible? And when astrologers last year were saying, this is coming, I was doing talks last year on the winds of change, it's coming, January, it's coming. Nobody knew that it was going to be a virus. Apparently there's a little chap in India who's 14 years old and he's an astrologer, and he predicted it. But apart from that, I don't think any of the other astrologers did. But what they did depict was a war. They said probably a war, a nuclear war, something very big that's going to actually topple society as we know it. It's going to change things at a fundamental level. So, yeah, so there's a lot going on. And I think that part of this for us is to actually be very honest and very authentic with what we're feeling, so that we can actually clear it. And then the next state of peace and joy and being okay comes from the surrender to the feeling. Because very often we have a life shock and we don't even know that we've had a life shock, and 2 days later your girlfriend says something to you and you snap at him, snap at her, him, yeah. It, because you still actually haven't dealt with the life shock. So now you're still in response, reaction mode to something that you didn't even know happened. So I was speaking to a client today and saying, I think it's a vigilance. It's like being aware of nuances in your body, how you react to news, what you're feeding yourself with in terms of news. Are you sitting watching TV all day? Are you sitting watching all these horrific things all day? Or are you feeding yourself with good inspirational stuff? Are you feeding yourself with good food? It's the same thing. So, yeah, so there's many, many different layers to this. But the one that we're speaking about today really is the feeling side, because I sense that that's a biggie for most of us right now. I don't know if you feel like commenting in comments if you agree with me on that. But so far with the people that I'm speaking to, they're saying, yeah, it's a bit like a roller coaster. So there can be real ups of, oh, so peaceful, so beautiful, so amazing. I'm not chasing anymore. Wow, I've got time to breathe. And then followed by a douche, a bit of a crash. And what I'm really saying is that the way I see it is that's okay. Just be aware of it. Because when you're aware of it, you aren't it. So when you can say, I feel sad, you are not the sadness. There's a space in between you and the sadness. So you bring yourself into the present moment, as John so beautifully teaches, and you're being present for the sadness. But you're not the sadness. You're not the fear. You're just noticing it. And then as you notice it, it moves through you like a wave, as opposed to getting stuck and then you react off that.
Yeah, because as Michelle's saying there, that the biggest danger we have is suppressing our emotions, and this time is a time of squeezing. It's a time of resolving those unconscious issues that we've carried around with us for forever. And the way we resolve those issues is not by understanding them, not by analyzing them, just by holding them in the light of our awareness. Because those dark emotions, they are darkness. They're coming from the unconsciousness. And they don't want to be understood. In fact, they can never be understood. But they can be held. They can be held in the awareness of what you're feeling in this moment. They can be held in your body. You hold them lovingly, like you would a crying child. And you just give it your love, your attention. So you give the fear your love. You give the anxiety your love. And you hold it in the light of your presence. That's enough. That's enough. That light of your presence, experiencing without judgment the emotion, is enough to dissolve that emotion. No psychotherapy, just holding it in the light of awareness. Not, the danger is, where does it come from? What can I do about it? No, none of that. Presence is a pure state of acceptance. So you just accept whatever's arising in this moment. If you're sitting very peacefully, that's wonderful. If you're sitting with a feeling of anxiety in you, that's also wonderful. Hold it. If you experience a separation anxiety because you can't get to your grandchildren, or you can't get to your children or your parents, if there's some anxiety, hold that. Just notice that that is what you're feeling and allow the feeling to be there.
Yeah.
You see, the word love is pretty much misunderstood by most people. In fact, you can't understand the word. I mean, it doesn't have any real meaning to understand love. But what love is something to be directly experienced. But the two words that lead us closer to what love is the word allow and the word accept. And at this time, what we're going through, the one that we need to allow and accept the most is ourselves. Yeah, the outside world needs to be accepted. That's the way it is. The people are doing what they're doing with the world, yeah. But let me start here. Let me start here. As Gandhi said, you have to be the change you desire to see. And what brings us closer to peace, closer to forgiveness, closer to love, than allowing? Allowing. Non-forgiveness is not allowing. Fear is not allowing a situation to be the way it is. Love is the opposite of that. Love is the antidote to all of those negative emotions. Love.
Yeah, sorry, just something that Suzanne's just said here. This is helping me with the past life shock too. Thank you. That is what's happening, Suzanne, because past life shocks are coming up. That is what's happening. Yeah. This is this Pluto thing coming in and saying, okay, what's underneath the surface that is stopping you, that's blocking your light? It's not actually blocking your light, but it feels like it is. It's something that's still there in your psyche that you haven't completely dealt with, felt, processed, let flow through you. So there's many different layers. We can't do this in an hour's call, but definitely there is old stuff that's going to come out. Claire Anderson says, not directly on feelings, but following on from what you said, about there being a war between dark and light, love and fear, consciousness and unconsciousness going on right now. Am I right in thinking that conscious people on a spiritual path like those on this call are a great minority in the world? I feel they are, which makes me fear that love, light and consciousness will not win the battle for a new world.
It only takes a square root of 1% to shift for the whole to shift. That's the 100th monkey syndrome. It takes a very small percentage of humanity to anchor their awareness firmly on the rock of love, place of presence, for that to have a uplifting effect on the entire consciousness of humanity. Claire's very, very correct in that there's an awful lot of human beings are unconscious. They live their lives unconsciously. They're still in the base chakras, the survival mode. And that's fine. There's no judgment there. That's absolutely fine. But we, with our awareness, if we anchor our awareness in this place of presence, this place of peace, the consciousness within us instantaneously changes the entire field of consciousness that we all live in. Because, the mechanistic way of seeing the universe is as a jigsaw puzzle. In other words, we're all individual separate parts. And we've known that for the last 100 years, that is not the correct model of reality. The correct model of reality is the field model, the quantum field model. And when you change one part of a field, you change the entire field instantaneously. So every drop of love that we put into the field, every drop of peace and acceptance that we right now add to this field raises the whole vibration of the planet exponentially. So if you think it takes a square root of 1% to shift, and that I think came from Dr. David Hawkins with his research work, if you take the responsibility then that's sitting on your shoulders to change, you've got the lives of millions of people on your shoulders, because they're not at the awareness to even know that there is a choice here. They don't know that there's a choice between love and fear, but you do. And by you changing, you change the consciousness of possibly hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So yeah, Claire, there's a great responsibility on our shoulders to make a very wise choice here as we go through this time. And this change that we're going through, and Michelle alluded to it, that this is a huge cosmic event. I mean, what has Saturn got to do with the Earth? It's got everything to do with the Earth. What has Pluto got to do with the Earth? We're all interconnected, as above, so below. And this war that's going on isn't just a war on planet Earth. It's a war in the cosmos. Our consciousness, because of non-locality, is directly connected to fields of consciousness way outside of the Earth. And this ripples through time as well. I mean, the one question answering on past life shocks. Yeah, we all carry, we are consciousness, pure energy, and as such we are eternal. I mean, energy, which is who we are, cannot be created nor destroyed. It changes form, it occupies this body today, and it occupies a different body tomorrow, and in 100 years' time it'll be occupying something different again. But we carry these residual energies with us, and we've been given an opportunity at the moment to resolve, to heal, to dissolve eons and eons of accumulated, stuck, unconscious attachments, resentments, regrets, and that can all be healed now, in this moment. No understanding required, as I said. It just takes the light of acceptance. This is what I'm feeling. Because the past has no power over you, other than the power that you give it in this moment. It's not real. The only thing that's real is your awareness in this moment. And if you choose to bring your awareness out of the past, into the present moment, the past is healed. And that's within us. We need to make this choice. As I said, we live our lives, if those of you have watched the video that I put up from Sunday's call, and if you haven't, it's on journeysofawakening.com. I talk about the horizontal plane of time going from birth to death. And now we have this intersection of the vertical depth, which is the being part of us. And if we anchor our awareness more fully on a moment-to-moment basis in being, which is the depth of life that Jesus spoke about. He said, I want you to have the abundance of life. The abundance of life is aligning yourself with life. Life is always in the vertical plane. It's always present. And if we invest in that and find our feet standing firmly on this rock, which I call the rock of isness, that dissolves the past and ripples out into our future and changes the situations, the circumstances, and the events that we are going to experience in the future. We change it from where we stand right now in this moment. This is huge. This is not small. This is absolutely huge. You mentioned earlier about Sunday, about the conjunction. Isn't Mars involved there somewhere as well?
No, but Pluto and Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter are, and it's very big energy, because Pluto is, as I said, it's that plumber, and Saturn is karma.
There we go.
So you've got Saturn's just moved off a little bit, but he's still around, because what's happening is Saturn's moved off into Aquarius, and then he's going to retrograde in April. So what's happening here is not the end game either. I mean, I'd love to say it is, for me as well as everybody else, but it isn't. It's not the end game, because these planets are moving off and coming back. So whether that means that's the ramifications of this on the planet and on our lives, that remains to be seen. On Sunday, At the moment, you've got Jupiter and Pluto moving together. They're very, very close together. And on Sunday, they come together at the same degree, at the same minute. So that just means that it's very big energy, because Jupiter is a very, very big planet and Pluto is the plumber. So what that could be is that Jupiter is a positive planet. It actually represents higher knowledge, higher learning. If there's a planet that symbolizes shining our light and doing exactly what you've just said, it's Jupiter. Okay, Pluto is more the darkness. So it's bringing light to the darkness. It can also mean expanding the darkness. So I'm just saying that's another way you can look at it. It can also be an explosion of this virus or something else. So there's different ways that you can always look at these things. But you can look at it as a portal of, it's like an opening, because it's such a powerful energy. And I'm sure some of you are feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. I have a very strong Jupiter in my chart, so
I think we're all feeling it physically.
Feeling it.
I mean, I'm sure most of you can feel something going on physically in the body.
Yeah.
Maybe tiredness, maybe a bit of the flu. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs taking place. One minute you're hot, one minute you're cold, then you get a sore throat, and then you feel tired, and you feel muscles achy, and the next minute you're fine again.
Yeah.
That's our experience, and this is not by accident. It's got nothing to do with the coronavirus. This is all to do with energies coming through the planet at this time. Our bodies are going through an upgrade. Mother Earth is going through an upgrade. The cosmos is going through an upgrade. And this point on Sunday is a very powerful opening for us to influence the future. By feeding in to this opening our fears, it'll be amplified. But by feeding into this portal love and peace and gratitude, that will be amplified. So this meditation that's taking place around the globe at South African time, 4:45, different times in different countries obviously, but 4:45 is a very important meditation. They're hoping to get 1.5 million people together to meditate globally. It's not a guided visualization. It's not an event on any social media. It's just us sitting in our space wherever we can and focusing our energy on what we would love to see given birth to in the world.
Yeah.
And the actual conjunction time is 4:06. 4:06 in South Africa. Yeah. Obviously different times in different time zones, but 4:06. But basically half an hour later, if we can all on Sunday morning be in a meditative pose situation, that'd be great. We are doing another open session on Saturday, and we'll be talking about different issues there on Saturday. It's at 7 till 8:30. We're probably going to do it on the same platform again, Facebook Live again. We'll see, otherwise Zoom. But we'll let you know if you're on Facebook or on our WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group for Journeys of Awakening, which you're all welcome to join. And we'll put out the notification as to what platform we're going to be doing it. But Saturday night we'll be going further into what this transition period is really all about.
Yeah. Rex just has a comment here. 2012 was the turning point. Light is accelerating. If we can just be in the moment with non-resistance, then voila, the positive quantum shift is incredible. Thanks for holding the space. Yeah, you're right. Exactly, Rex. So this is a quantum shift. And, you know, I think with it being so evident astrologically to so many astrologers, to all astrologers that are worth being astrologers, it's very clear that there's a divine plan in this. So it doesn't matter where it came from, how it happened, what's happening, somehow there's a universal driving force in this, because otherwise it wouldn't have been evident. So I think that helps me certainly to actually say, okay, well then let's see how we can navigate it rather than fight it and resist it. So the one thing, sorry, just before we move on, because I do want to take you guys through a meditation to actually just connect with what you're feeling, so that you can do that over and over again, because I think that it's important that we hold the light and do what we do in terms of our spiritual practices, whether it's meditation at various times during the day, just being present shifts the vibration, as we know, but also during the day, pausing during the day, just noticing what's going on for you, and just pausing between things, slowing things down. So instead of doing things at breakneck speed like we normally do, just really stopping and slowing down and picking a flower and washing the dishes and just washing the dishes. That's actually also helping, I believe, to actually introduce this. Maybe the slowing down thing is in an effort to help this energy actually come in, because I don't know, it's just an insight I've just got that this energy's this light energy is trying to get in, and we're all just going we're too busy, thank you, like we're just too busy, too much stuff to do, and maybe we just needed to just stop so it could actually come in. That's an insight. So I think that you know, if we can just be present for what's going on and accept it, and without judgment. So, you know, we all think that we're on a journey and we should be past this and we shouldn't have these feelings, and damn, why did I have that feeling? Well, you're human as well. So you do have feelings. You're not your feelings, but you do have them. And it's okay to feel fear about the economy or about loved ones or about getting the virus. It's okay. Claire says, what are both your views, please, on the global economy? Are work and jobs as we have known them going to change significantly, or do you have no idea?
Hold on, I've got a crystal ball here somewhere.
Oh, where's mine? No one can tell what the future holds for us, sure, right? Is this something that I should not be thinking or worrying about? I think many people are, though. Yeah, it's a good question, Claire, because actually nobody does know.
But I can assure you one thing, Claire, that the world is not going to be the same. The world that we lived in is not going to be the world of the future. It's going to change. Given the logical mind, it doesn't look a pretty picture. It doesn't look a pretty picture. I think the people who are involved in creating this crisis have a certain picture in mind, which isn't too pretty. There's a lot of information on the net on that one. However, I see a different picture. I see that this is an opening for the light to come in. And what is being birthed now is, as I mentioned right in the beginning, it's the changing of the caterpillar into a butterfly. The word work is going to disappear. There won't be such a thing as work anymore. What you do is what you love. How can you call that work? Too many people have spent too long being a slave to money. And that is going to go. Well, money is going to disintegrate. I can see that. What replaces it and what system replaces it is very dependent on us as to which world we want to feed. Do we want to feed the world of fear or love? If we feed the world of love, the system of economy is going to be very supportive, very nurturing. We have technology, we have energy now that we didn't have a couple of 100 years ago. And yet most of us are working harder now than our grandparents. Why is that? Because of the old unconscious forces that have been siphoning off vast amounts of resources. And we're shifting through that, provided we, this is not a given, provided we do our work, just knowing that square root of 1% puts a huge responsibility on your shoulders, providing we do our work, then you will find a new world being born. We have to go through the birthing process. As I said, it is a very painful, uncomfortable, bloody process. But on the other side of that is something really magnificent. This is not random. We're part of a magnificent system that wants us to thrive, that loves us infinitely. But we have free will. We have to co-participate in this transformation process. But we have been given a massive boost right now, and that boost comes from being, not from doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I thought we could do, and then we can actually check in afterwards as well, is to just do a meditation. I'm just going to guide you through a meditation to just feel what you feel in the moment. So before we do that, what I'd like to ask you to do is just bring to mind something that happened over the last, say, week for you, which was uncomfortable. So it's part of the process. You're not going to dive into it in terms of you're not going to replay it, but just find something that's happened. It could have been an interaction with someone. It could have been opening a newscast that made you feel really anxious. It could have been a conversation you had with someone. It could have been a dream you had. It could have been waking up in the morning feeling anxious or feeling fearful or feeling really sad. I know a lot of people are sad right now. This is like a grieving process. So there's a death happening here, and there's grief happening for the old, for what was before. And that's also okay. So if someone came to you and they said they were grieving, you wouldn't say, well, chin up, dear. You know, you'd say, yeah, you're grieving. It'll pass, but you need to actually just acknowledge that. So just a situation or a moment where you felt some kind of a contraction or some kind of a discomfort. So if you could just bring that into your awareness, and then I would suggest that you close your eyes and just take a really nice deep breath in and a releasing breath out. So deep breath in and a releasing breath out. And another deep breath, but make it a belly breath. So you can even put your hands on your belly so that your belly blows out as you bring the air all the way up into your lungs. And then on the out breath, sigh it out. Just sigh it out. And another deep breath in. And a sigh out. Let the day go. Sometimes it helps to breathe in for longer than to breathe out for longer than to breathe in. So breathing in for say 3 and breathing out for 6. It starts to actually relax the parasympathetic nervous system. So just breathing, and now let your breathing just take its natural rhythm. And to connect us all and to protect us all, I'd like for you just to imagine a white light above your head. And imagine that white light pouring in through the top of your head. And as it pours through you, you can actually start to relax your body. So starting with your head, you can start to relax your eyebrows and the tiny little muscles around your eyes, muscles around your nose, and relax your mouth. Let your tongue just rest. Relax your jaw. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Relax your jaw. See if you can relax your ears. And what if you could soften your scalp so it could just slide right off? Just soften your whole body. And then bring that light down through your neck. Soften the muscles in your neck. Drop your shoulders. Send that energy and that light down through your arms into your hands. And when it reaches your hands, just notice the energy that you can feel in your hands when you focus your attention on your hands. You might notice a little bit of a tingling or a warmth. That's the life energy that animates you. Now bring that energy down into your body, front and back, into your torso. Send it down into all your organs, into your heart, your liver, your spleen, your tummy, your digestive system. Down all the vertebrae in your spine, down into your pelvic area. Soften that area as well, so the whole top part of your body is soft and relaxed. And then move that light down through your legs, into your feet, and down into the earth below us. Let that light spread out as roots, like roots from a tree, anchoring ourselves in presence. And then you can breathe in Mother Earth energy up through the bottom of your feet, all the way up through your legs, through your pelvic area, up through your torso, through your arms and your hands, up through your shoulders, neck, and into your head. And now just gently take your attention to your heart. And imagine a spark of light in your heart. And we're just going to set an intention into that spark of light to be present for what arises with gentleness and compassion, without judgment. And we give thanks that we are surrounded by light and protection. And we are safe enough to be doing this together and individually. So now you can just bring your attention to that feeling. You don't have to replay the whole situation, but see if you can bring your attention to the feeling that you felt in your body when you were in what we might call the pain body response, or when you were in an uncomfortable emotional state. So bringing awareness to that, and then feeling that, doing a little scan of your body and getting a sense of where that feeling sits in your body. You might find it could be in your solar plexus, it could be in your jaw, it might be a feeling of contraction in your throat, it might be a pain in your head. Just do a little body scan. Imagine that there's a little laser scanning through your body, looking for areas of tightness and contraction. And when you feel and find the biggest contraction, just notice it with your awareness and take a nice deep breath in and a releasing breath out. See if you can touch the feeling, the sensation in your body with your breath. Send your breath right into the middle, into the center of this feeling, with great love and compassion. Imagine that you were sending love into a really special, precious person or pet, and do the same for you. So just breathing your breath into that area and filling it with love. And now relax your shoulders. Put your shoulders back a little bit to open your heart. Take a deep breath in and send that breath right into that same place again, over and over. And let that wave of breath wash through your whole body. If you need to adjust your posture to really feel more relaxed, do that. Get yourself comfortable. Notice if you're still holding any restriction, any tightness. Notice your shoulders. They might be up around your ears. Drop them down. Soften the heart. Open it. See if you can soften every part of you. If your hands are clenched, open them. Consciously cue your muscles to just let go and release. And on each release, sigh with a big sigh out. It's all okay. Everything is okay right now. In this moment, there is nothing to control. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. You're perfectly capable and safe enough to just be here now. See what happens when you just breathe, and on the out breath you just let it all go to another level. Reconnect back to that place that you were breathing into. Notice with your awareness, notice what's happened. Notice if you sense a texture there. Is it dark? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it feathery, transparent, spongy? What kind of texture is there? Maybe it's got a color. If it had a color, if this feeling had a color, what would the color be? You're just exploring with curiosity, which is your awareness. So you're just noticing, no judgment, and breathing. So the process is noticing what you're feeling, breathing, relaxing, and allowing. So you allow that feeling to just be there. And you bring your breath in like a wave to actually wash that feeling through. And very often when you do this, you'll find that it starts to dissipate quite quickly. Just feeling it exactly where it is, surrendering to it, allowing it, watching it, surrendering. You might find another wave coming up. You might find your mind going wandering off into that situation. Bring it back to the feeling and back to your breath. Deep breath in and a releasing breath out. Noticing that if you're watching the feeling, you are not the feeling. You are the presence noticing the feeling. There's a space in between. Another deep breath in. Let that wave of breath wash through your whole body. Send it into all the areas of discomfort or restriction. Send it in to wash away the fear, to wash away the anxiety, to clear you out. Continue to breathe, relax, allow. Just surrender to this moment, whatever is presenting itself in this moment. And you can say to yourself, which I find very useful, even though I'm feeling this, I deeply love and approve of myself right now. And say it again. Even though I feel this, I deeply love and approve of myself right now. Reconnect with that area of discomfort that was uncomfortable. Might still be. You might want to carry on doing this after our call, or you might feel that it's shifted a little bit. Might have moved somewhere else, or might have gone completely. Scanning your body for any other areas of tightness or restriction. Sending your breath into that area. Softening, allowing, breathing. Being present for exactly what arises in the moment. No judgment. Slowly bring your attention back to your breath. The breath coming in through your nostrils and out through your mouth. Take a nice deep breath in. Breathe it all the way into your heart. And the next breath in, breathe that breath into your heart and ignite that light that shines in your heart. And let that light radiate out from your heart, out to every single cell in your body, every muscle, every tissue, every organ. Let it just permeate every part of your body, all the way up to your head, all the way down to your feet. And then let that light come out from your heart, out of your body. Let that radiate out into your environment, into your home, and then let it radiate out into your community, your country, and your world, and beyond. Just sit for a moment in presence. Just giving gratitude for this moment right now. Taking a deep breath in. And out. And when you're ready, gently, if you like, you can open your eyes. We can't see you, so it doesn't matter if you keep your eyes closed.
Okay, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. Just notice how you feel in this moment. We haven't changed anything on the outside, and yet everything from an experiential point of view has shifted and changed. I was given 2 words while the meditation was on, and the one word was abstinence and the other word was purity. So if we have a look at abstinence, just to be mindful of anything that you are feeding your awareness on. Allow the emotions to be there, but don't feed them with your thoughts. Abstain as much as you can from any negative thinking. Abstain from any negative, habitual habits that you have. You know, it's quite strange that our bottle stores are closed at the moment and that the sale of cigarettes is being restricted. It's a time of abstinence, just being with what is, because all addictions cover up that which now needs to come to the surface. So abstinence. And purity, just be mindful that you're feeding purity into your body. Watch the diet that you have. It's quite nice at the moment because the fast food places are shut. But be very careful as to what you feed in, emotionally, physically, diet-wise, media. So those 2 words, abstinence and purity. Don't know where they came from. Came from somewhere out there. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, and I just encourage you to do, if that was helpful to you, it's not difficult. You can do it at any time. You can just pause and feel it. And we do have time at the moment, so we can do that. And just give yourself that permission to feel what you feel, because then it flows out. It's a wave. It's like this that we're experiencing is a wave. Astrology is based on the principle of waves of energy and cycles of energy. This is a wave that's going to pass. It's going to be different afterwards, but it's going to pass. And so is every moment going to pass. So just to be present for what's arising now, whatever that is.
And also to allow yourself to feel grateful. I think if you can focus on that, allowing gratitude for each and every moment. This is unique, and unique time in human history, and you're part of it. You volunteered for this, believe it or not. Some people think they were drunk when they chose their life path. But no, we weren't. We were 8 times more intelligent. And we signed up for this, and it's quite an honor to be here at this moment in human history and to be awake through the process, not asleep, not in fear. So thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to meeting up with you again on Saturday evening at 7 o'clock. We've got an hour and a half on Saturday, and it'll be great to have you there, and we'll talk a bit about this portal that's open at the moment. Yeah. So bless you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
That was
Thank
lovely.
you.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.
Bless you.
Good night.
Bye.